Another nice day outside. Another cold day. It feels like 40, 30 something degrees outside. Yeah, it's literally cold outside. Now I'm finna start wearing my jackets. Now that it's started getting cold. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm IWN, and we are live for your AEW Dynamite review. AEW Dynamite last night, they put on a hell of a fucking show. But I gotta admit, that segment of Paige cutting a promo, that segment was terrible. Where they had Jamie Hayter, Serena, Deeb, Britt Baker, and all them, that was terrible. I didn't like that. I think that was the only bad thing on the show. Everything else on the show was great. The women's division is not where it should be right now. And hopefully it will be now that Paige is on the AEW women's roster. Paige making her debut changes the complete complexion of the AEW women's division. Jericho becoming Ring of Honor champion is one of the best decisions that AEW's ever came up with. One of the best decisions that he's ever done, putting that title on Chris Jericho, that Ring of Honor title, the Ring of Honor World Championship that Cesaro had, that he had dropped the title to. The match between Juice Robinson and Jon Moxley, hell of a fucking banger, man. Hell of a banger. Of course, we got Ricky Starks being booked in a squash match against a jobber. I said this before. I said this yesterday. I'm going to say it again. Please, AEW and Tony Khan, stop with these squash match ideas. Stop with the squash match ideas. We don't need to see squash matches every week. We need to see real matches every week, real competition. So far, Tony Khan has given us that on Rampage and Dynamite. I would love for him to start giving us real matches on Dark and Elevation as well, because as of right now, we've been getting sloppy matches. We've been getting terrible matches. We've been getting god-awful squash matches on Dark and Elevation. We don't need that. Especially if you're not actually building up talent for their next feud in AEW. Especially if you're not building up talent to be the new star of the men's or women's division. Folks, I got your WWE and AEW Thursday afternoon news. We're going to go over that after the review. And then after that, I go over the news, the AEW WWE Thursday afternoon news. I'm going to get the hell out of here and get ready for work and go to work. Unfortunately, I am not in that good mood today. I'm in a bad mood today because of what happened yesterday, because of what I was told yesterday, and also because of what I heard yesterday. I'm going to tell you guys about it after I give out the WWE and AEW Thursday afternoon news. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about it because I want everybody to know about it. And I want everybody to make sure they're taking care of themselves. Make sure you're doing your jobs right when you're working at a restaurant, because some owners are not very nice. Some owners can be a bunch of idiots. Some owners of certain restaurants can. Some owners can lose their temper, and some of these owners can have too much temper. So much temper that their own employees would want to quit because of their behavior. There's too many owners these days with freaking anger problems and temper problems and stuff. We don't know. I'm not going to work at a restaurant where an owner of that restaurant tempers and flares out at managers, getting on managers for no absolute reason, and then getting mad at someone like me for no reason over something that wasn't really even that serious. Well, we're going to talk about it after I give you guys the WWE AEW news. If you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on that bell for all notifications. Most importantly, hit the thumbs up, man, on the stream. Your likes, as well as your overwhelming support for me and my channel, helps out really well. It helps out in a lot of ways possible. It most importantly helps me out, helps my channel out. I appreciate everyone for joining me for the AEW Dynamite review. This is going to be a very, very fast AEW Dynamite review. It's going to be a normal, solid review. It's going to be great. It'll be great if we have more audience in here. I would appreciate it. I don't know why people don't be turning on the notifications. I always say every week when I'm live with my reviews and watch-alongs, turn on your notifications so you don't miss every single watch-along or a single review that goes live each and every single week. I say that every week, and it seems like people are not listening. It seems like I'm going to have to say it every week more and more and more times until people do it. Until all the YouTubers that are always in my live chat, until all the YouTubers that subscribe to my channel have turned on the notifications. So subscribe, hit the thumbs up, turn on that bell for all notifications so you don't miss all of my SmackDown, Dynamite, and AEW Dark and Elevation watch-alongs, as well as my SmackDown, Dynamite, and Rampage reviews that go live each and every single week. Please and thank you. I would appreciate it. I'm not being negative. I'm not acting like no slob. I just want you guys to make sure that you're hitting the thumbs up, hitting the subscribe button, because it's very important. I don't want you guys to miss all the new content I have planned going forward with the channel, man. I really don't. I got some cool stuff, and I got some really, really huge, important, amazing stuff planned for this channel, man. And when I say this, I mean it. I mean it with passion. I mean it with heart. When I say all this. When I say all this, in other words, I mean it 100%. I don't lie to you guys. The only time I'm really upset and mad is when I'm postponing stuff for the other week. The reason why I didn't went live for my Dynamite review last night is because I was in a bad mood. I was mad about something. The crew app that I have on my phone blew up, and my employees were all on. So I had to go on to check to see what was going on. Not to mention, the owner was sending photos of me on camera, which I didn't like either. You know, that had me questioning whether I was in trouble or not for something. You know what I mean? It just struck all of me that he did that. But if you all have any questions at the end of the review or at the end of when I give you guys the AEW Thursday afternoon news, please comment them in the live chat. I'm willing to answer your questions the best way I can. And once again, like I said, thank you guys for joining me here for the AEW Dynamite review. We're going to go ahead and get right to it here. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the review here. Give me a second. I'm going to pull up the results as well. Guys, I go live with these reviews for a reason. I go live with my watch-alongs for a reason because I care about all of the YouTubing wrestling fans want as far as content goes. I care about you guys hearing my opinions and my thoughts on wrestling and on a show on a weekly basis and everything. I care about all this stuff. I care about what you guys want to see and what you want to hear on the channel. I really do. You just don't know how much I care, and you just don't know how much I appreciate you guys supporting my channel, man. Your support really, really does go a long way, legitimately. I'm saying it again because I'm being real with you, man. I'm being straight up 100% truthful. Now, the review's pulled up. We're going to officially begin here. If you're just now joining, subscribe if you're new. Turn on bells notifications. Hit the thumbs up on the stream. Let's get some likes on the stream minimum. I really appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and begin this time. Enough with the talk. Let's begin the review. So, the 2022 edition of Dynamite Grand Slam kicked off with Chris Jericho challenging for the Ring of Honor World Championship for the first time, but holder Claudio Castagnoli sought to ensure his first opportunity would be a failed one. In the end, though it was cheap, it was a cheap low blow by the Wizard and the Julius effect that added yet another world title to the veteran's sparkling resume. The match was good, but not good. It was good, but not great, with an outcome that was more eyebrow-raising than intriguing for a number of reasons. Now, I will say this, folks. This did feel less like a long-term plan for the future of Ring of Honor than an excuse to pad Jericho's resume, which is absurd given how extraordinary it already is. I mean, he is a legend, but he probably wins far more than he should in AEW. Now, a win here could have really cinemated Castagnoli's reign. Instead, he loses a bit in a... Wait a minute. This is the wrong one. Oh, I'm reading the wrong one, guys. I'm sorry. I pulled up the wrong one. I just realized it. Good thing I stopped, because if I had not kept going, I probably would have got dislikes on the stream. Here it is, guys. Okay, so Jon Moxley and Chris Jericho made history in Queens at Dynamite Grand Slam, but on the heels of Chris Jericho's first Ring of Honor World Championship victory a week ago at Dynamite Grand Slam, the Jericho Appreciation Society kicked off the broadcast with a special in-ring celebration. So that's what kicked off Dynamite last night. As you all know, I was live with my AEW Dynamite September the 28th, 2022 live stream watch along. Not too many people watched it. Not too many people joined, and that's okay. My other Dynamite watch along will be next week. My Dynamite watch alongs will be next week going forward. I did say that on my Dynamite watch along last night. So hopefully when I start going live for my second Dynamite watch along, which will be Wednesday night when I schedule it, hopefully more people will come in and be in the live chat, listening, and watching the stream. Because every week on my Dynamite watch alongs, every week on my SmackDown watch alongs, and every week when I do a WWE AEW news live stream, I'm going to have some WWE news every week to keep you guys up to date on what's going on in the world of professional wrestling. Very important. I'm all about giving important news, not no fucking fake ass news, not no news that's real. Not no false news like something the dirt sheets give out. No. Sorry. And ringside news are not dirt sheets. So for you geeks in the community that keeps calling ringside news dirt sheets, cut the shit. They're not dirt sheets. Stop it. Let ringside news do their job. Let them do what they have to do to give us the best news possible. They are my only sources I have right now in the community, and I don't want their website getting taken down. I don't want their jobs to be in jeopardy. I don't want them to get fired. I don't want the ringside news website to disappear to where we can't see actual news ever again. So I'm gonna need you geeks in the community to stop calling ringside news dirt sheets, because they're not. Anyways, Angelo Parker, Matt Menard, Sammy Guevara, Tay Mello, Daniel Garcia, and Anna J. A.S. accompanied the Ocho named so far for his 8 world title reigns for this segment. And we're joined by Luigi Primo, somebody that shouldn't have never been on the show. I don't know what the hell he was doing on there. But he played his gimmick well. I will say that. So I'm not going to be like some negative podcaster or negative wrestling source and say, oh, Luigi is a freaking ASS. No. He played this role well. That's all I'm going to say. Keep him off of TV. This is the only time Luigi Primo should be on TV, especially if he's not an AEW talent. He's not an AEW superstar. He needs to be off TV. He doesn't need to be on TV. He's not a part of the Jericho Appreciation Society. I could see if he was an AEW talent, yeah. But he's not. So he needs to stay off TV. He doesn't need to be back on TV again. That was some cringy shit we saw from Luigi Primo. By the way, Luigi Primo, who actually drew heat for his claim that the best pizza is made in New York. Daniel Garcia cut the celebration off and began to say something he had been trying to get off his chest, but Jericho silenced him and warned him to think twice about it. Bryan Danielson interrupted the proceedings, and after some back and forth, Garcia again stood up for himself, challenging Jericho to team up with Guevara to meet him and Danielson. So we got Jericho and Guevara versus Danielson and Garcia booked for next week's AEW Dynamite. That is going to be a hell of a banger. I really think that match is going to be great. If there's no fuck finishes involved in the match, hopefully we don't get none of those, because I hate those. I hate them fuck finishes and those DQs and all that stuff, all that cringy shit. I don't want that on my television. I want to see the wrestler get pinned. We don't need no DQs or no effing finishes. No. That's terrible television right there. That's what I call it. Terrible television. We don't need it. That's something Impact does with their talent. Impact. And really, nobody cares about Impact, so I'm not even going to go there. Now, Garcia again stood up for himself, challenging Jericho to team up with Guevara to meet him and Danielson. Hesitation led to Danielson and Menard arguing in a match between them being set up for the opener. This was not good. This wasn't really that good. But this was long. This right here, the storyline between Garcia, Jericho, and Bryan Danielson is, in fact, long-term booking. JD confirmed that on his podcast last night when he was reviewing Dynamite. He's right. JD is right. He's always right. Long-term booking. This is long-term booking. This is what professional wrestling should be. This is what entertainment should be. This is how storylines should be done as far as long-term booking goes. Now, this is how you book a match too. This is how you come up with the idea of booking matches like Jericho and Garcia versus Danielson, or Jericho and Guevara versus Danielson and Garcia. I think AEW made another great decision by booking Jericho and Guevara versus Danielson and Garcia. I don't know why anybody in the community would think otherwise and say, no, that was a terrible decision. No, it's not. No, it's not. Tony Khan is doing his job right, man, this time around. It's just on Elevation and Dark, he's not really doing so well with those shows. He needs to be booking real matches instead of squash matches. I said that in the beginning. I'm not going to say it again. This was not good. It was unfocused, but it's long-term booking. All over the place and featured a challenge for a match despite 1/4 of said match already being booked for a title defense later in the show. So there were too many moving pieces, very few of them that mattered or added to the segment, and the result was a convoluted mess rather than something that drummed up added excitement for the show. So like I said, this was long-term booking. The tag team match is going to be great for next week's Dynamite. I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you guys are too. So now in just 1 week, more people have seen me with this belt than any other Ring of Honor champion because no one knows about Ring of Honor, Jericho said. Defiantly not diminishing the promotion whose name is written on the belt he now carries. Now, Danielson referred to him as the heart of professional wrestling. This is not a bad moniker by any means, but it probably been more effective for a Garcia or someone without a badass nickname like American Dragon. That's all I'm gonna say to that. So the product of the Subpar opening promo, the match between Danielson and Menard, took place primarily during the commercial break, with Daddy Magic surprisingly controlling the pace and dominating the action. The American Dragon fought back and appeared poised to roll following a babyface combat, but a DDT by Parker on the arena floor. DDT by Parker on the arena floor allowed Menard to basically resume control. So, the well-timed arrival of Claudio Castagnoli, a knee and a lapel lock, earned Danielson the come-from-behind victory. There is much to be said for presenting talent as credible, but there is really no reason Menard controlled as much of this match as he did. Danielson is the best wrestler in the world. In my honest opinion, he's one of the greatest wrestlers in the world. But that's not me saying that. So, pretend like you didn't hear that from me. He is recognized as such by a large portion of the AEW audience, and having him actually struggle against Menard even before Parker's interference was certainly a choice. The wrong one, but a choice nonetheless. Now, it was also interesting to see Castagnoli running counter interference rather than looking to advantage his taunted loss to Jericho from a week ago. Castagnoli wiped out Parker with an uppercut on the floor and carried him to the back to prevent any further interference. You know, that's whenever Castagnoli came out. So this was a good match between Daniel Bryan and Matt Menard. I don't think it was that bad. It should have been a little bit more better. I'm just going to say that. Now, Philadelphia's own Wheeler Yuta hit the ring before the scheduled MJF promo and wasted little time calling out the scarf wearing salt of the earth. MJF responded, and the budding rivals went back and forth verbally, not saying much of note, but intensifying a rivalry that, as the Casino Ladder match winner reviewed, will pretty much culminate on next week's episode of Dynamite. So, pretty much, Yuta versus MJF is booked for next week's Dynamite. That's what it says in my title, if you guys look. The Gun Club stood by MJF, preventing any sort of brawl between him and Yuta, as the segment came to an uneventful conclusion. Yuta showed good passion on the mic, but MJF destroyed him verbally. There was very little about the exchange that gave the viewers at home any reason to believe the babyface stands a chance at beating the heel next week, even with the crowd pleasing Philly lines. Now, the match will likely be very good, possibly, but this was just merely okay, and a reminder that MJF is light years ahead of young Yuta as a talker and main event presence. That will change the more Yuta has opportunities on the mic and to develop his character. So that is the silver lining in all of this. So this is what MJF said to Yuta. So you have about as much charisma as Joe Frazier, current day, MJF said of Yuta's personality, or lack thereof. Oh, he hit the Phillies line, Yuta said after predicting his foe would go to the cheap heat route. If you don't want to fight me, I will leave you in the pool of blood on Broad Street. You may not know this, Max, but bad things happen in Philadelphia, and tonight is no exception, Yuta warned. I'll fight you next week in Dumpy, Washington, D.C., MJF said, refusing to give Philly the match it wanted. So that was that. So then we go from that to the championship eliminator match. We got Jon Moxley versus Juice Robinson for the AEW World Championship. Juice Robinson entered Wednesday's championship eliminator against Jon Moxley, ready to remind the world that he has already beaten the Devastator in a high-profile match once before. He did so by jumping the AEW World Champion prior to the bell, slamming his head into the guardrail in the process. Unable to fall on the assault, he found himself on the defensive as Moxley recovered and unloaded on his opponent. Robinson recovered and targeted a laceration on Moxley, who bleeds shocker above the left eyebrow. Every time Moxley mounted an offense, Robinson cut him off. Moxley fought out of the grasp of his opponent, downed him, stomped all away at his face, and applied an arm breaker for the submission win. Adam Heyman Page interrupted the post-match celebration. MJF teased cashing in his title opportunity in Cincinnati, and Yuta attacked him in his sky box until security pulled him away. Now, the Yuta review was really well done. The brawl with MJF made up for the Cool Hum promo segment from moments earlier. It was the fired up babyface beating that needed to happen to build Yuta and earn him some legitimacy ahead of a showdown with MJF next week. For next week's episode of AEW Dynamite, which happens to be AEW Dynamite episode 40. The match that preceded, it was not so great. Moxley and Robinson have had much better elsewhere. For whatever reason, this did not hit as it was probably intended to, and the result was sort of a letdown of a match given the guys involved. I mean, honestly, it was great in the beginning, in the middle, but in the end, it kind of got a little boring. In the end, that's when I started looking back at my phone. I said, I'm ready for this match to be over. You know what I'm saying? The beginning and the end, the beginning and the middle of the match was great, but the end, it just wasn't, the end was at a point where I just said, you know what, I'm going to go do something. It didn't really interest me. The end of the match didn't really interest me. But prior to the match, a video package set up Darby Allin versus Jay Lethal for Friday's Rampage. Moxley escaped a fireman's carry and delivered a regal knee and an ode to mentor and follow Blackpool Combat Club teammate William Regal. For everything wrong about the previous promo segment, the review of Yuta behind an MJF here in the preceding attack was well done. Well done. So we got Saraya speaking on Dynamite last night. Now, Justin Roberts introduced Saraya to the Philly fans 1 week after a headline-stealing debut at Arthur Ashe Stadium. And I got to ask, what is y'all's thoughts on Juice Robinson versus Jon Moxley for the AEW World Championship? Let me know in the live chats right now. Let me know in the live chats your thoughts on the match between Jericho and Bandido, as well as your thoughts on MJF and Wheeler Yuta promo. I would love to know anybody's thoughts on those. I want to know your thoughts so I can, because I already gave you my thoughts. So, after a brief welcome promo, the second generation star called out the women's roster. AEW Women's Champion Toni Storm. Well, knockout. Madison Rain, Sky Blue, and Athena answered, notice I was being creative. Notice I wasn't mocking JD. All these geeks in the community. Oh, IWN's a JD wannabe. Meanwhile, JD's one of my many inspirations. And he's the greatest in the IWC and the greatest at what he do. The only greatest podcaster in the entire internet wrestling community. I don't want to hear these geeks coming in the chat. Oh, there he goes again, trying to be like somebody he's not. Do you really think I'm stupid? My answer is no. Dr. Britt Baker, Rebuild, Jamie Hayter, and Penelope Ford interrupted. Baker talked trash and claimed conspiracy following yet another broken nose, only to have the fans break out in a chant for Hayter. The segment mercifully ended with Saraya announcing the scheduled match between Storm and Deeb would now be a ladder match. Just because this was one of Saraya's worst freaking segments, worst promo segments on the show, packed with 3 bad ones. Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. This was fucking terrible. It was absolutely awful. It really was. There was no real rhythm. The reason or conclusion, it was about as far from effective as one could imagine. Yeah, the promo segment for Saraya speaking, this shit sucked. It sucked really bad. It really did. I'm glad that Saraya is on AEW, but oh my god, that promo segment was really not getting it. It was not getting her over. It really was. I'm sorry. Everybody can come at me with a negative comment all they want to, saying, "Oh, but Saraya's in AEW. She's gonna carry the AEW Women's Division." And they can say that to me all they want to. I'm not believing it until I see it. Now, it was about as far from effective as one could imagine. The randomness of the lumberjack match also felt way too much like a Vince McMahon booking call. Yeah. That's the way to say it right there. Which is ironic, given Saraya mentioned that she was thankful she had a boss that actually listens to her for once. Whoa! That right there, when she said she was thankful she actually had a boss that actually listens to her for once, that must have been a shot at Vince McMahon. I think that right there was legitimately a shot at Vince McMahon. If that to you is not a shot at Vince McMahon, then I don't know what else to tell you. That was definitely a shot at Vince McMahon for taking away her Twitch privileges in WWE and all the other stuff. Oh my goodness. I bet Vince McMahon was watching Dynamite, and I bet he was not happy to see Saraya on there. I bet Triple H was upset to see her making her AEW Grand Slam debut. I know I would have been upset too if I was Triple H, man. If I was in charge of SmackDown, Raw, and NXT 2.0, I'd be upset too, man. I really would be. She could have easily talked to Triple H into coming back to WWE. Triple H could have easily brought her back, signed her to a contract, and could have easily let her wrestle. But no, Saraya chose to go to AEW. And I don't think she's aware that Triple H is head of creative talent relations. I really don't think she is. I really don't. But this is what Saraya said when she was in the ring. "So you guys miss me?" She said it in response to chants of welcome back. "I'm damaged, but I'm not broken. I'm the revolution. AEW is officially my house." This lady is finally being utilized to her full potential, Saraya said of Storm. "Look at what we have here. A shiny new toy." That's what Britt Baker said. "Until you earn a little respect around here, you're just a catchphrase." That's what Britt Baker said to Saraya. In fact, I put my neck on the line for all elite wrestling, and unlike yours, mine can actually handle it. Ha ha! Yeah, sure. Yeah. Oh, you can handle your political agenda, but you can't admit that you were sending those god awful disrespectful tweets to Thunder Rosa, right? Right? And then you seemingly deleted them like as if nobody saw them, right? Give me a effing break, man. If that ain't a sign that Britt Baker is in it for political reasons, I don't know what else to tell you, man. Like, seriously. Adam Cole needs to talk to his girlfriend, man, and be like, look, man, you can't be tweeting out stuff about Thunder Rosa saying she's sandbagging and freaking not selling moves and stuff. You can't be doing that, bro. Honey, you can't. You got to tell her, like, honey, you can't be doing that. You're better than that. Come on, man. You need to stop with your political stuff. Really. Stop it. Cut it out. Now, the good doctor said in another empathic line, which she said, I put my neck on the line for AEW for all elite wrestling. Unlike yours, mine can actually handle it. Yeah, sure. You can't even handle the women's division. Whispering in people like Jamie Hayter's ear, trying to get Jamie Hayter to get at Thunder Rosa. Yeah, sure. Sure thing. Sure thing, man. I bet you won't tell that to Tony Khan's ear. Bet you won't tell that to CM Punk's ear. My goodness. My freaking goodness, man. If Britt Baker is all about herself, Tony Khan might as well release her from her contract. He might as well release her from the company, if that's the case. I really feel like Britt Baker is all about herself and not all about the AEW Women's Division in real life. I really do think that. I can agree. Again, if she's all about herself, Tony Khan needs to look at it and say, okay, it's time for her to go. I got to release her from her contract. I got to release her from the company. I got to remove her from the roster page. I got to remove her from the Women's Division. She's got to go. I can't have a WWE or AEW female talent from wrestling promotions. It's all about themselves. You know, it's ridiculous. If Britt Baker continues to be all about herself and not the women's division, Tony Khan is eventually going to let her go, man. And Adam Cole's not going to be happy with that. But you know what, Tony Khan? I feel like Tony Khan's going to talk to Adam Cole and be like, look, man, your girlfriend screwed up. She's all about the women's. She's all about herself and not about the women's division, man. You know. Really. Britt Baker did not put no division on. She put that division on the map using her political ideas. That's what she did. So, Britt Baker is nothing more than another Charlotte Flair. In my eyes, anyway. Storm found herself on the defensive early and often, including throughout the commercial break, as the professor worked her over with a concentrated offense. Notice I said concentrated offense. You don't see that often on TV. Now, at ringside, Night Cow and Hayter brawled with the former chasing the later of the ramp, with the other babyfaces keeping Baker at bay. Keeping Baker, Rebuild, and others at bay, man. Including Penelope Ford. She was there too. Now, the attention finally returned to the action inside the square circle where Deeb proved her abilities by surviving Storm's finisher and staying in contention for a moment. Anyway, as Storm put the challenger away with an avalanche pile driver for the successful title defense. The match was good. Yeah, but there was still a considerable amount of time and attention paid to the around the ring instead of those in it. Now, that does little for either Storm or Deeb. but was a microism of the show as a whole, in that it was actually unfocused, despite an ample amount of potential for something great given the competitors involved. Now, there was ultimately no reason for this to be a specialty match, nor was there any cause for the other women to be involved. It was merely an excuse to get them on TV and establish Saraya as the new, well, whatever it is she is going to be for the women's division. Since it was newer, it was legitimately never revealed whether she would be wrestling or not. Storm winning was the right call, and Deeb still looked great in that survived the champion's finisher. She survived the champion's finisher and only lost following a devastating pile driver. Still, it rang hollow considering the questionable booking around it. Now, speaking of Saraya, guess who's glad that Saraya is in AEW? Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey is glad that Saraya is in AEW. Why? I don't know. There was a news article I saw on that. Oh my goodness. You gotta be kidding me. You want to talk about somebody that would never get over Saraya. Ronda Rousey would never. I think Saraya would whoop the crap out of Ronda Rousey if she were to return to WWE. Literally. A storyline with Saraya and Ronda Rousey would be interesting. It really would be. Given that before we've heard some Rousey chants in the arena. You know. Yeah. What? Given that people claim that Ronda Rousey is a star in the SmackDown Women's division. Yeah, right. She's nowhere near no freaking star. She's in it for herself, just like Charlotte Flair, just like Becky Lynch. Bianca Belair and Bayley, the rest of the women are in it for the women's division. I know. Those are the only three that I know are in it for themselves and not for the women's division in WWE. Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair. Can't call her cringe Becky Lynch no more because she's a babyface now. And she needs to stay babyface. She's better in her babyface role than she is in her heel role. Deeb kicked out of Storm Zero in a moment that felt unnecessary given the finish followed just moments later. That's the top moment of that match. That was the only top moment of that match. The rest of the things that happened in my match were not top moments. Not to me, anyway. So, man, we got this squash match. We got Ricky Starks versus Eli Ism. Who the hell is Eli Ism? That's what I want to know. Anyways, absolute Ricky Starks sought to build momentum following his win over Powerhouse Hobbs Friday on Rampage Grand Slam as he battled former Ring of Honor competitor Eli Ism. By the way, Powerhouse Hobbs versus Ricky Starks was one of the best matches on the Grand Slam Rampage card, man. That was a huge, fantastic match. And got Ricky Starks over Powerhouse Hobbs in a way that we never thought would happen. In a way that we never expected. So he did that in short order, defeating his opponent with a spear, followed by a Rockham BU. I don't know what that is, but this felt more like filler than anything, save for a spot showing for Starks. He has been wrongfully utilized, underutilized, but the win over Hobbs felt like a turning point. While it was not really, put it this way, folks, it was not really much to this one with it still got Starks on TV and in front of the AEW fans on the A show. Something he has earned more than he has received. Now, this was a step in the right direction. Now, it is up to Tony Khan to see it that the young competitor can realize his breakout potential. Now, kudos to Escalibar for tying Ring of Honor into this one and reminding the audience of Islam's history with that promotion. So we got the main event of Dynamite last night. We got Ring of Honor World Champion Chris Jericho defending his World Championship against Bandido. Bandido, man. I think this was the only best match on Dynamite, in my honest opinion. The former Ring of Honor champion Bandido challenged Jericho for that promotion's world title in Wednesday's main event, seeking to wrest the championship away and restore respect and prestige to the GOAT. He put up a considerable fight, delivering a crowd-pleasing delayed vertical suplex and an Eddie Guerrero tribute in the form of a picture-perfect frog splash. He even countered a lion salt attempt with a sunset flip powerbomb from the middle row. Jericho eventually did deliver his springboard signature move and moments later applied the walls of Jericho. Bandido answered with a moonsault fall-away slam for a near fall that finally had the fans in Philly rallying behind him. The desperate champion raked the eyes, spun the mask around to blind the challenger, and applied the Lion's armor. Jericho tapped him out for the win, much to the dismay of the fans. Now, this was by far the best thing on the show. The only best thing on the show, basically. The only best match on the show. I don't know about best thing, but the only best match. I'm going to put it like that. The best things on the show, Ricky Starks, Chris Jericho, and Bandido. Oh, and Daniel Garcia and Daniel Bryan. Those were the best things on the show. The best match on the show was Chris Jericho versus Bandido. That was the only best match on the show. My honest opinion. And as you guys notice, Bandido's front mask had blood on it. I don't know why, but for some reason it did. Maybe because his nose was bleeding. Maybe because Jericho busted his nose so much that, the mask was covered in red. I don't know. But Bandido, all I know is Bandido's front mask had blood in it. Legitimately. So I hope he's all right. And nothing serious, I hope. Now, this was by far the best thing on the show. It was not remotely close. The work was snug. We'll say that. The spots perfectly placed. And the crowd was rooting for the challenger down the stretch. Because Bandido was a babyface. Chris Jericho's a heel, of course. Jericho continued to split in the face of all things Ring of Honor by cheating dishonorably to retain his title. Then followed it up after the match with a cheap low blow and injurious effect to ring announcer Bobby Cruz. This is ultimately leading to Daniel Garcia dethroning him in the name of the promotion and carrying that brand forward. While there is much to question about the idea of Jericho denouncing Ring of Honor in hopes that fans do eventually care about it enough for Garcia's win to have the desired effect. This is the highest profile that particular title has been in years, for bad or worse. Now, Jericho Moxley did a secret handshake with Bandido, showing the former champion a little respect in a fairly humorous moment. If you want to talk about other top moments, Jericho stood on the top rope looking down at his opponent, who was poisoned to counter him, and still jumped right into a super kick. Bandido executed a minute-plus vertical suplex, which popped the crowd. Ripped the white mask of the challenger as the commentary team questioned whether he might have had a brother defect. That's what I was talking about. That's why I was saying his mask had blood. That's why I was saying that in the review. Bandido delivered a 21 plex for a dramatic count. That was a good 21 plex by Bandido. Wow, Bandido is fantastic. He is fucking great. This was a great match between Jericho and Bandido. Easily the only best match on the show. So, the best things on the show, again, I will repeat, the best things on the show were Chris Jericho, Daniel Garcia, Daddy Magic, Daniel Bryan, Bandido, and Chris Jericho, and Ricky Starks, because Ricky Starks did well in the ring as well. To let the fans know that, he's over. You know what I mean? He's over as a babyface in a division. So, this was a solid Dynamite episode for what it's worth. And to be honest, man, I think this week's episode of Dynamite was better than last week's. And the show, don't get me wrong, the show had its share of ups and downs this week. But, Ring of Honor being empathized within the AEW is strange. It's really, really strange, y'all. If they don't have some type of television or streaming deal in the works, you'd think Claudio Castagnoli would be seeking a rematch. But it feels like just moved on from him now that he's dropped the title. I also don't feel like there's a lot of heat in Jericho threatening to change the thing about Ring of Honor. If Jericho is serious about that or not. Most fans are watching for AEW, and it's hard to say how they are in the Ring of Honor past and present. So that's all I got to say about that. So that is going to do it for your AEW Dynamite review. If you guys enjoyed it, hit the thumbs up. Let's get a lot of likes on the stream, animal. If you didn't, it's okay to hit the thumbs down. It just lets me know that I need to do better and I need to improve a little bit more. Anyways, now we go from that to your WWE AEW Thursday afternoon news coming out of Dynamite. So, gonna put on some music while I go over the news with you guys. And we are actually going to start. We're actually going to start with the news on AE, or not AEW, but news on Sasha Banks. We're going to start with the news on her. This is very important, guys. This is legit, so take this news with a grain of salt for now, because we don't know if this is true or not. So, I got some news on Sasha Banks. I got your news on Goldberg. We're going to go over all that. We're going to start with the news on Sasha Banks. So, Sasha Banks and Naomi famously stormed out of WWE, and their status in the company still remains ambiguous. Ambiguous. Yeah. I think that's the way to say it. Now, their status in the company still remains ambiguous, according to reports. They agreed to a deal with the company after the big regime change. Now, however, seeing the change in Banks' Twitter name, it seems she has different plans for herself. Banks has removed the WWE from her name on Twitter. She switched up her Twitter name from Sasha Banks to Mercedes Renata, which is also her real name. Triple H previously sounded positive about her eventual return to WWE in an interview with Ariel Helwani. He did acknowledge that there was a break in communication between WWE and her. She says here, and I quote, "Time will tell. I think in a lot of ways, communication breakdowns are terrible, and there's a communication breakdown there. For whatever reason, starting back up that communication is not a difficult process, but it can be a process, right? And you have to go through the process. She's an unbelievable, talented young woman that can do just about anything she wants," end quote. That's what Triple H said. Now, Banks hasn't completely taken off the branding of WWE from her account. However, she still details herself to be Sasha Banks in WWE in her bio, along with her role in the Mandalorian movie. Disney movie. She plays as Koska Reeves in that movie. She remembered who she was and the game changed. So, Sasha Banks seems to be gravitating towards other career options as well. She recently talked about what kind of acting project she loves and revealed that she wants to star in a Korean movie, in a Korean film. The star also gave an in-depth look at her Star Wars Andor premiere outfit. What is y'all's take on this? Sound off in the live chat below. Or any live chats. Yeah, I said it right. Sound off in the live chat below. What do y'all think of Sasha Banks looking for other things in her career to do, including filming and starring in a Star Wars movie? Do you guys think she'll make it? You guys think she'll do it well? I think she'll do well. I really do. She always does well. Even in professional wrestling, she does well. She's the greatest of all time, for fuck's sakes. I see why the Sasha Banks fans and stains are a big, huge fan of her. And I see why I am a huge fan of her. So, there is some news on Goldberg. Who gives a shit? Honestly, I don't think nobody cares to even hear this, but I'm gonna put it out there anyway. So Goldberg teases eventually making WWE return. Oh really? Oh really, man? Yeah, right. Give me a break. Oh man. Oh, guess what? There's not only news on that, but there's also news on Goldberg having 0 matches left in his WWE contract. Yeah, there's that too. So, it says here that it's certainly a legend in business. Yeah, right. Oh man, he had one of the worst matches ever with Bray Wyatt, the Fiend. Did you see how he literally picked up the Fiend Bray Wyatt? That was a one of the worst, terrible jackhammers I've ever seen on WWE television. Man, that Super Showdown match was awful. Bray Wyatt got buried, completely buried and wasted. He should go back to the Fiend character when he makes his return to WWE so he can get the right push that he needs, that he deserves. Would you guys like to see the Fiend as Universal WWE Champion? Let me know. So, Goldberg previously admitted that he regretted not appreciating pro wrestling in the past. Who cares? Goldberg squared off against Roman Reigns for the WWE Universal Championship at the Elimination Chamber event in Saudi Arabia. On February 19th, after an intense match where both competitors gave it their all, Roman Reigns won the match after he made Goldberg pass out to his guillotine choke. While speaking on WWE's The Bump, nobody watches The Bump, nobody cares about that. Again, Goldberg was asked about Roman Reigns' streak of dominance. Goldberg said that he owes Reigns a receipt for their match. I guess he owes Reigns credit. That's what he's trying to say. Roman Reigns doesn't want your credit. Fuck out of here, man. He says here, and I quote, "I don't have any matches left on my contract. Good. Nobody wants to see you on TV and wrestle." Fuck Bill Goldberg. Excuse my language. No offense. But I know one way I can take care of it. I do need to give him a reset for that little choke out in Saudi Arabia. But I think that there are a number of superstars that are capable of dethroning him. Most definitely, it's got to be the one, the right one. Yeah, sure thing. The right place, and it has to be one-on-one. Sure thing, Goldberg, sure. Yeah. And that's tough because nowadays with the Usos, he's got a built-in bodyguard system working out pretty well for him. Oh! Oh my God, man! Are you serious with this? Give me a break. Give me a break, man. He said he thinks Brock Lesnar had an opportunity to do it when he comes back. Nobody wants Brock Lesnar or Goldberg on television. Keep them off television poles then, please. Please, no more. No more, man. No more. Oh my God, man. Nobody cares, dude. Really. What? So Goldberg can get on TV and take a massive L again? Yeah. Give me a freaking break, man. This shit is hilarious to read, man. It really is. No kidding. I easily see why JD laughs and shits on Goldberg, man. Legitimately. I'm sorry. I gotta do this. I hope Goldberg takes a massive LTV for good, man. Because he sucks in his current age right now. He really does. Now, it says here, he said that, like I said, I think there are a number of people on the card on both shows. Both programs that have the potential to beat him. But it's got to fall into place. I mean, he's very dominant. We've seen that over the past year or longer. And it's going to take that special person to come out and dethrone him. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure thing. I think, like I said, there are a capable of people that are more than capable of doing it. So if I'm taking the champagne and I'm drinking it, am I capable of having champagne in my own home? Yeah. Okay. So if I was to have a fist and get ready to punch somebody in the face, am I capable? Am I capable of doing that? Am I capable of getting myself fired from my own job? Seriously, man. Am I capable of defeating Brock Lesnar in my current age? Goldberg should be saying no. Nah. That's been a long road, no question about it. And to the fans, you mean everything to me. The young ones, the old ones, the in-between ones, the guys, the girls, the black, the white, the green. I don't care who you are. I couldn't be who I am without you, and I will be forever grateful for the rest of my days. Goldberg sounds like Goldberg sounds like some kind of fat slob. He sounds like some kind of idiot or something. Some clown. That's what he sounds like. The way he's saying all this. He sounds like a blithering idiot. He sounds like a blithering idiot. He does. Sounds like a blithering idiot. Legitimate. And then he went on to say, my days aren't done yet. My days may be numbered. Yeah, good. They need to be. Get off the TV. Get out. Bye. Goodbye. Good. We don't want you on TV no more. My days are not over with yet. I've got a monstrous garage and gym being built behind me in frame. I don't care. That will be done in about a month. If you think I'm going to be crazy living there for the rest of my life preparing for what's next, you're crazy. No, you're crazy for bringing yourself back. Like anybody wants to see a 67-year-old Goldberg. Like, really, come on. Give me a break. You serious? That's what Goldberg said, end quote. Goldberg also confirmed he is under contract with WWE. Let's go over that. Because there's some news on that. I had that listed in the description. So, this is real WWE sports news right here. So, Goldberg is a Hall of Famer. I don't care. Nobody gives a shit. And one of the biggest names in professional wrestling history. The former WWE Universal Champion might not have been a fan of pro wrestling at first, but realized its worth. What a lame thing to say. Really. Goldberg also confirmed that he is still under contract with WWE. Goldberg left WWE in 2004. That's when he should have been staying retired, right there. And returned in 2016, where he has competed in several top matches, especially against Brock Lesnar. He has also been part of the main event title picture on numerous occasions. Oh, really? Last time I checked, he wasn't in the main event title picture. While speaking to Joseph of the New York Post, Goldberg clarified his status with WWE. Goldberg stated that while he has completed his obligation for the number of matches he signed on for, he is still signed to WWE. Who gives a... I'm not saying it again. Who gives a ish? It says here, and I quote, I'm still waiting for that one call to happen one of these days. But I suppose you never retire in that wrestling world until you are dead. Until you're dead, basically, is what he said. The day goes on to say, so who knows? Hey, I may never get the call. You never know. I hope you don't get the call. Stay retired like Paul White, please. But you bet your ass I'll be ready. End quote. No, you're not. No, you're not. Not even close. WWE could also be planning a huge 25th anniversary for Goldberg in September. It remains to be seen whether Goldberg will be back in a couple of months or not. Oh, I hope to God not. Please, 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 stay on TV. Please, don't come back on TV. Don't come back on my television again. If I do, you know what I'm going to say? Oh, Bill Goldberg is what I'm going to say. Something JD says, too. A lot. What's your take on this story? Guys, let me know. I don't think you even care. I don't even think you even care to give me your takes on this story. I don't think anybody that's watching cares, man. I don't blame you, don't. This guy was nothing but a disgrace to WWE, man, at his current age. Seriously. Legitimately. I am speaking true fact. So, there is news on WWE being concerned about this week's episode of SmackDown due to Hurricane Lane. We're going to go over news on that. So, it says here that WWE is always making sure to provide the best product for its fans. However, recent events have become a cause for concern for many. Hurricane Eon, that's what it's called, Eon. I said lame again. I sound lame for saying that. Hurricane Eon left many in Florida without power. That's not good. My brother lives in Florida. He lives in Fort Lauderdale. I'm going to be calling him tomorrow to see if he's okay. My thoughts and prayers go out to everybody in Florida. Just hang on. The storm is almost over, man. It's going to be reaching us eventually. Us here in North Carolina. While this week's edition of SmackDown will take place in Winnipeg, Canada, a large portion of the WWE roster resides in Florida. Yes, most of them do. That includes Io Shirai, Valentina Flores, Valerie, the woman that I said is going to be the next Sasha Banks in WWE. Because I've seen a picture of her in Snoop Dogg. Makes me wonder what kind of theme song she's going to have. Snoop Dogg and her may be working on something for her entrance or her theme. Probably going to make it sound like Sasha Banks. Man, I look to see a feud with Valerie. I look to see Valerie feud with Sasha Banks. I look to see her and Sasha Banks together as a tag team, man. I would look to see how that rivalry would go. So, a large portion of the WWE roster resides in Florida, with the WWE Performance Center located in Orlando, according to Dave Meltzer on the Wrestling Observer Radio. This is what the geeks call the dirt sheets in the community, man. Now, they may be dirt sheets in some way, but Ringside News are not dirt sheets, man. Seriously. Get that out of your systems, you offing geeks. WWE is hopeful that talent will be able to travel to the taping. Now, WWE is also worried about the show. It says here, and I quote, I know WWE is very worried about Friday's show this week because they have so many people from there. It says here, then Dave Meltzer went on to say, the hope was that it'll be okay and people can get there from Tampa and Orlando to Winnipeg on Friday. So I guess we'll have to wait to see how Friday SmackDown will be affected by the hurricane in the end. What is y'all's take on WWE possibly changing? Let me know in the live chats and let me know in the comments below when the stream ends. There's some news on Toni D'Angelo in his injury and surgery as well. So, Toni D'Angelo became one of the highlights of NXT television thanks to his solid character work. While he has gained fanfare as of late. That's true. Some of the NXT talents on NXT 2.0 are actually good, and most of them are not. Most of them suck. That includes Lash Legend. That has not helped him when it comes to injuries. During the latest set of NXT tape, D'Angelo seemed to suffer an injury while he was facing Wes Lee. This episode has already aired. Now listen up, folks, to those of you that are Toni D'Angelo fans. According to Dave Meltzer on the Wrestling Observer Radio, he is not expected to be undergoing major surgery. I wonder why. But I thought they do surgeries on every single talent that get injured. Sounds a bit odd if you ask me. D'Angelo could be back sooner than people would think. The WWE superstar is legitimately injured. I guess we'll still have to see when he will be making his return. Guys, I will be live with the WWE Halloween Havoc pay-per-view watch-along next month, as well as the Extreme Rules watch-along. So I'm going to get started on my Survivor Series thumbnail and background this coming week. So be prepared to see my Survivor Series watch along being scheduled. I'm going to be subscribed to Peacock going forward. From now on, every year. So, what's your take on this scary spot? Let me know. Now that we went over the WWE news coming out of Dynamite for today, now we're going to go over the AEW news coming out of Dynamite. And that's the news on the huge AEW Rampage spoiler results for September 30th, 2022. And news on Miro. News on Miro will be the last news of the day that I'll be going over with you all. So, and then Saraya responds to criticism of AEW Dynamite promo. I'm going to go over the news on that and the news on Ronda Rousey. Happy for Saraya joining AEW. That'll be it. I promise. Because I have to get ready to go to work. Even though I don't want to go to work, I feel like calling out because of Paul. I just said his name. I don't care. I am very upset and mad at him for various reasons. I really don't even care if he's watching the stream. I really don't. Honestly, we are going to talk about that at the end. I actually forgot to tell you guys. I remember. I just told you guys I was going to be talking a little bit to you guys about that at the end. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and go over the news on the huge spoilers for AEW Rampage, September 30th, 2022. Results here. All right. This is your spoilers, your official spoiler warning for AEW Rampage, September the 30th, 2022 results. I'm about to tell you guys what happened during the show. So, if you don't want to hear what happened on AEW Rampage this week, then I suggest you click off because I'm about to review to you what happened on this week's episode of AEW Rampage in 3, 2, 1. It says here that AEW capped off last night's edition of Dynamite with a Ring of Honor World Championship match between Chris Jericho and Bandido. The company taped matches for Rampage immediately following the conclusion of the flagship show. Again, the company taped matches for Rampage immediately following the conclusion of the flagship show. This is your official spoiler warning, folks, because, again, I'm about to tell you what happens. So this week's edition of Rampage will air on September the 30th. And I will still be live for the SmackDown Rampage watch along anyway, despite me getting ready to tell you guys what happened with this week's episode of AEW Rampage, because it was taped. As I just told you guys. And it will deal with the aftermath of Dynamite as well. Matches for Rampage were announced during Dynamite last night. So the card for AEW Rampage this week has the Acclaim defending their AEW World Tag Team Championships against Private Party and the Butcher and the Blade. John Silver versus Rush. I bet that was a hell of a banger. Holy shit, man. Willow Nightingale versus Jamie Hayter. Lee Moriarty versus Fuego del Sol. Fans will hear from FTW champion Hook as well. So the AEW World Tag Team Champions, the Acclaimed, defeated Private Party and Butcher and the Blade. Anthony Bowens pinned the Blade. Jamie Hayter with Britt Baker and Rebuild defeated Willow. Knockout. Good. Jamie Hayter needs wins in AEW. She doesn't need to be losing. And get her the fuck away from Britt Baker. Please. Jamie Hayter needs a singles run in AEW. She doesn't need to be paired up with Britt Baker and Reba. Britt Baker is nothing more than a political bitch. Lee Moriarty with WWE Marcy and Stokely Holloway defeated Fuego del Sol. Marcy chokeslammed Del Sol after the match. Ryan Nemeth cut a heel promo on Philadelphia. Nemeth insulted ECW, prompting FTW champion to come out and assault him. Hook put Nemeth to sleep with the Red Drum submission. So the Trustbusters came out on the stage and left an envelope for Hook. He took it and walked to the back. And then Rush defeated John Silver. Andrade and Rush double teamed on Alex Reynolds and Silver. So wait a minute, you mean to tell me Hook's next feud is going to be with the Trustbusters? Oh God, that's going to be so utterly boring. As long as Hook is over the Trustbusters, I'm fine with that. If Hook is not over the Trustbusters and Hook ends up losing, we're going to have a legit problem. If Hook ends up losing his FTW championship in a singles match against Ari Daivari, we are definitely going to have some problems. Going to have some issues here. And that would be one of the worst decisions ever. Just because Hook is so over in AEW, man. He really is. He is a mega star. And he has so much potential, man. And he can do so much more. They just got to keep booking him right and using him right on TV. The Dark Order came in to make the save. The Butcher and the Blade got involved as well. Hangman Page finally came out and cleared the ring to end the show. So, what is y'all's take on the AEW Rampage spoilers for September the 30th, 2022? Again, what's your take on the huge AEW Rampage spoilers for September 30th, 2022? Let me know in the live chat, please. Very, very appreciated. Now, the last news I have today is news on me addressing his absence from AEW television. So, yes, indeed, Miru addressed his absence from AEW television. Miru used to work under the name of Rusev when he was in WWE during his time in the company. Miru was largely underutilized, and fans were unhappy with his booking as well, and that includes me, because Miru did not deserve to get wasted and treated like complete shit on TV. And that's how Vince and Bruce treated him when they were in charge, by the way. Now, following his WWE release a couple of years ago, and before I read this, I just want to tell y'all that Miru also promised to go after the AEW World title in the future. Now, following his WWE release a couple of years ago, Miru made his AEW debut at the September the 9th, 2020 episode of Dynamite as Kip Sabian's best man. After a shaky start, Miru eventually became the Redeemer and won the TNT Championship before losing it to Sammy Guevara. Miru had been seen since AEW All Out. He hasn't wrestled on Dynamite for a few months. Miru took to Twitter and suggested that he hasn't been featured on television because nobody has the balls to face him. So, I guess we will have to wait and see what AEW will have planned for Miru and whether he will eventually be part of the AEW World title picture or not. So, let me know in the comments below. That'll do it for your AEW Thursday afternoon news. Before I leave, I want to tell you guys why I didn't go live for my Dynamite review last night. I'm going to make it simple and quick. It's because I was mad and upset about the messages I was getting from the owner of the job I work at. And then he goes, the other day he goes and shits on my managers, getting on them for no reason. And I flat out said that the managers deserve respect. I wasn't there, I was off work that day. The managers, my KFC managers, they flat out deserve respect. They don't deserve to be disrespected. I felt like they were disrespected by an owner who doesn't care about not only his own employees, but his own restaurants that he owns. You know, all I'm gonna say is his temper is out of control, and he really needs to control it, because one of these days, I don't mean to say this in a way to make him mad, but one of these days, somebody is going to beat the holy crap out of him, and he knows what I'm talking about. Somebody is going to mess around and fuck his ass up one of these days because of his temper and his mouth. People are going to mess around and tell him that he runs his mouth too much, and then he's going to get mad and somebody's going to sucker punch him in the face. And he won't even know it. And I can tell you right now that I was very upset at the owner of KFC yesterday, and I'm still very upset and mad at the owner of KFC for getting on the managers for no reason. The managers did nothing wrong. They were just doing their jobs. They're just doing what they were told to do. Nothing wrong with that, right? And then he got mad at me. And I know why. I'm not even going to explain why. I was upset and mad at him because he got mad at me, and then he was sending those photos of me on camera with a bucket in my hand. You know what I'm saying? So, and then he accuses me of stealing. That really pissed me off when he accused me of stealing. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that was right. Him to accuse me of stealing, for him to get on my managers like that. That really upset me and pissed me off. I'm still upset about that. And I'm showing up to work today, and I'm not even scared to show up. I'm not. I'm really not. I'm going to show up to work, do what I got to do, and get out of there. That's all I'm going to do. I'm gonna be talking to my shift manager, too. Because I gotta have a real talk with him. I really do. And telling him how I feel about the owner of KFC and what I really think of the owner of KFC. I mean, he literally doesn't. I feel like at this point, from talking to him, I really feel like he just doesn't care about nobody but himself and his money. I really do. I really feel like that. I wonder what his boss thinks of him raging out at his own employees. I really do. I really, really do, man. But anyways, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I got to get ready for work. I got to go. SmackDown will be scheduled tomorrow. My SmackDown Rampage watch along will be scheduled tomorrow. I will be doing my SmackDown Rampage thumbnail and backgrounds tomorrow before I go get my haircut and stuff. So I'm probably going to have to get up at 10 or 11 tomorrow. I got other thumbnails and backgrounds to do, and that includes my Survivor Series thumbnail and backgrounds. I got to do another Halloween Havoc thumbnail for my NXT. Well, I'm not reviewing NXT Halloween Havoc. Forget it. I'm not doing it. I said I'm not going to review NXT and Raw until those shows get better. They are. So who knows? But whenever I quit my job next year, that's when I'm going to start back watching Monday Night Raw and NXT. So, guys, I got to go. I got to get ready for work. I got to get out of here. So, like I said, I'll be live for Friday Night SmackDown and Rampage tomorrow. I'll be live with the watch along, but the review will be this Saturday afternoon. So, if you have any questions, please feel free to message me on Instagram or Facebook. Or reply to my review. Reply with a comment to my review, man. Thank you guys for joining me, man. I'm getting out of here. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Thursday. I really do. I hope I have a great rest of my Thursday. I don't know if I am or not. I may. I don't know. It all depends. It all depends how it's going to go. I'm already upset and mad at the owner of my job that I work at. So, And I don't think getting mad is going to change anything. I sent him a message, apologized to him. I sent him a message saying that when my ship manager leaves next month and when I leave next year, he's going to want us back. He's gonna really, really want us back. He really is. Legitimately, he's going to want us back when we leave. So it's going to hit him hard when I leave KFC. It really is. Because he really liked me, man. He really loved what I did. And he's always proud of me for doing my job and stuff. The owner is. So he's really going to miss me next year. I don't think he is. I don't think he's going to really care. I think the only person that's going to miss me is my general manager. I don't think anybody else is going to miss me. I don't even think anybody else is going to know that I'm leaving KFC next year. I haven't told anybody else besides my fry cook, shift manager, general manager, and assistant manager. I haven't told anybody else yet. And I won't. Because I want them to find out for themselves. And plus they're new. They don't really know me like that. They don't even know I'm leaving next year. I am. And I'm not getting any more jobs. I'm not getting any more jobs. All these jobs and all these places can go fuck themselves. Don't even bother hiring me, like I said. Don't even bother hiring me because I'm not applying for any more jobs after I leave KFC. I'm continuing my career as a YouTube content creator. I'm going to continue to do what I do best on the YouTube channel, which is giving you guys the best content possible. And I'm going to continue to stream my watch-alongs, produce my watch-alongs, reviews, and stream games on YouTube until I get to 1,000 subscribers, until I get 4,000 watch hours for review. And if my YouTube channel doesn't pass the partnership program, then I'll start over. I will be upset if it doesn't. But if it does, I will be very, very happy. And all I ask for YouTube to do is let my YouTube channel pass the partnership program, despite me cussing on some of my live streams and videos. I don't mean to cuss in negative ways. I do it in a positive way. To be very, very honest and be truthful. I'm going to try not to cuss so much in some of my watch-along videos. It'll start to improve, though. The more I'm closer to getting to 1,000 subscribers, the better I am on not trying to cuss so much on my watch-along videos, man. But most importantly, I need everybody to start being in a live chat for my AEW Dynamite, Friday Night SmackDown, and Rampage watch-alongs and reviews. I want a bigger audience tomorrow for SmackDown Rampage. I want the biggest audience that I haven't had in a long time. I want all my audience from the AEW All Out watch-along to be in the chat tomorrow. Everybody that viewed and watched my AEW All Out watch-along. 1K views is probably more than likely the highest views I've ever got on the channel. But I'm getting out of here, guys. Have a good Thursday. Most importantly, stay safe always. Peace. I'll see you guys tomorrow for SmackDown and Rampage.